Hello, DIY enthusiasts and green thumbs. Welcome to our tutorial on creating your own succulent terrarium. Now you might be wondering, what exactly is a succulent terrarium? Well, it's a delightful mini ecosystem residing in a glass container where succulents, those hardy little plants that thrive in harsh conditions, are the stars of the show. They're a popular choice for home decor thanks to their low-maintenance nature and the charm they add to any space. Picture a captivating miniature garden of diverse succulent species, nestled amongst layers of rocks and soil, all enclosed in a clear glass container that allows you to view its beauty from all angles. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or a newbie to the plant world, this project is an exciting and rewarding way to exercise your creativity. So, are you ready to bring a little piece of nature indoors? Stay tuned to transform your space with a dash of greenery and creativity. Before we get our hands dirty, let's round up everything we'll need. The star of the show, of course, will be our succulents. These hardy little plants come in a variety of shapes, sizes, and colors, so feel free to choose the ones that speak to you the most. Next, we'll need a glass container to house our miniature ecosystem. It can be any shape or size, as long as it's transparent. Now onto the supporting cast. We'll require potting soil specifically designed for succulents, as well as some rocks or pebbles for drainage. Activated charcoal is also a must, helping to keep the terrarium fresh and preventing mold. And last but not least, the decorative elements. This is where you can really let your creativity shine. Think decorative rocks, shells, or figurines, anything that enhances the terrarium's visual appeal. Now that we have our toolbox ready, we can dive right in. The first step in our green journey is preparing our glass container. This involves giving it a thorough cleaning, ensuring it's free of dust and debris that could potentially harm our precious succulents. So grab a soft cloth and a mild cleanser, and let's get to work. Now, on to the fun part, layering. Layering is not just about aesthetics, it also serves a crucial purpose. Our first layer is rocks or pebbles. They act as a drainage system, preventing water from pooling and causing root rot. Next, we have activated charcoal. This magic ingredient keeps the terrarium fresh by filtering the air and combating bacterial growth. Lastly, we add a layer of potting soil, the perfect base for our succulents to thrive. Remember, each layer plays a vital role in creating a healthy environment for our plant friends. With our container prepped, we're ready to introduce our succulents to their new home. Now comes the fun part. Planting our succulents. It's time to get these green friends out of their pots and into their new home. Start by gently loosening the soil around the edges of the pot. Be careful not to damage the roots. If the succulent seems stubborn, give the base of the stem a gentle tug. It should slide out with the root ball intact. Now let's talk arrangement. Consider the size, color, and growth habits of your succulents. You might want to put taller or larger plants towards the back and smaller ones in the front for a tiered effect. Or go for a more eclectic look by mixing them up. Remember, there's no right or wrong way to do this. It's all about what pleases your eye. As you place each succulent in the terrarium, you'll want to make a little well in the soil for it to sit in. Then gently pat the soil around the base of the plant. This will help it stay upright and also ensure that the roots are in contact with the soil. A quick tip. Make sure your succulents are spaced out enough to allow for growth. These little guys might look small now, but they'll fill out over time. Think of it as giving them room to breathe and grow. Also consider the positioning of your succulents. Try to create a little depth and dimension by placing some plants slightly behind others. This will give your terrarium a more dynamic and interesting look. And finally, remember to keep the leaves above the soil to prevent them from rotting. Succulents store water in their leaves, and if these are buried, the moisture can cause them to decay. So let those leaves bask in the open air. Our succulents are now comfortably settled in. Let's move on to adding some extra charm. Time to let your creativity run wild as we add some decorative elements. This part is all about personalizing your succulent terrarium. Think of your glass container as a miniature world, and you are its creator. You can enhance its visual appeal by adding decorative rocks, shells, or even tiny figurines. Imagine a miniature garden path made of decorative rocks or a tiny beach scene with shells. Maybe you'd like to add a whimsical touch with a miniature gnome or fairy. The possibilities are endless, and the choice is yours. Remember, each element you add should complement your succulents and not overshadow them. Balance is key here. Play around with different arrangements until you find the one that speaks to you. Personalizing your terrarium is a fun and rewarding process. It allows you to infuse your unique style into your creation. With our terrarium looking splendid, let's move on to how to keep it thriving. A little care goes a long way in keeping your terrarium vibrant. Let's dive into some essential care tips. Watering your terrarium is a delicate balance. You'll want to lightly mist your succulents every 2 weeks. Be careful not to overwater, as succulents prefer dry conditions. Next, let's talk sunlight. Succulents love light. Place your terrarium near a window that gets a good amount of indirect sunlight. If you notice your succulents leaning one way, rotate the terrarium to promote even growth. Now, let's tackle some common issues. Overwatering is a common mistake. If you notice your plants looking mushy and discolored, you might be watering too much. Cut back and allow the soil to dry out. Maintenance is key. Regularly check for signs of disease or pests and remove any dead leaves or branches. This helps keep your terrarium healthy and looking its best. Armed with these care tips, you're all set to keep your terrarium flourishing. Take a moment to admire the lush, miniature world you've created. It's a testament to your creativity, patience, and love for greenery. This isn't just a collection of succulents in a glass container, it's a living piece of art that you've brought to life from scratch. Each leaf, each pebble, each decorative element, they all come together to form a harmonious, self-sustaining ecosystem that's as unique as its creator. It's more than just a DIY project, it's a reflection of your personality. So my friends, don't stop here. Let your imagination run wild. Try different plants, different containers, different arrangements. Experiment and have fun. That's what DIY is all about. And when you're done, don't keep it to yourself. Share your creation with the world. Inspire others with your creativity. Isn't it amazing what you can create with a few simple materials and a bit of time? We've reached the end of our DIY succulent terrarium tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed this journey as much as I have, and that you're now ready to create your very own miniature garden. It's a fun and rewarding project, and the result is a beautiful piece of living art for your home or office. If you found this tutorial helpful, I invite you to subscribe to our channel. We have a whole host of DIY tutorials, from crafting to gardening, and I'm certain you'll find something that sparks your interest. Plus, we're always adding new content, so there's always something fresh to learn and create. For those of you who want to delve deeper into the world of terrariums or succulents, or just need a little more guidance, we've included some links to related videos and resources. They're packed full of tips, tricks, and inspiration to help you on your DIY journey. Remember, the world is but a canvas to our imagination. Happy DIYing!